Hello everyone, and welcome to yet another interview for the RARALAND tournament. This time we have Starbuck with us, and first time meeting you in person, and I'm very happy to do so finally.
Yeah, pleasure as well.
Yeah, how many offline events have you gone to in the Warcraft scene?
In the Warcraft scene, 3 I think. The last one was in Cologne for Experience.
Oh yeah. You've been doing quite well in the Experience.
I went unbeaten.
Yeah. I saw, and it's been like a general thing I think for you, like the last year or so, and for a long time I feel like you were under the radar. You were doing really well in clan leagues and 2-on-2 cups of
I started with 2v2, like it's my favorite mode.
Yeah, and you could see you on the Warcraft Champions ladder grinding out with people and being on the very top.
Yeah.
But I do think that 2021 has been like your one-on-one year, or where you're really showing people that you can beat people like X-Lord, and you can go toe-to-toe with people like Javi, and be there with the best of them.
Yeah.
And that's also, of course, what you show by being in the main event of RARALAND.
Yeah, I'm super excited to be here. Like you mentioned, right, in 2021, I was thinking of stopping Warcraft 3, but then Plain Ducks picked me up, and it was really fun doing team clan wars with them and so on, and they said, "You're so good, why don't you try out some tournaments?" So I started doing and qualified for DreamHack, made some ice cream money, so I just kept going, and here I am.
Yeah. So do you think the main reason why you didn't, show your potential in 2020 or 2019, is that because you just didn't compete in many one-on-one tournaments?
Yeah, I didn't even sign up. Like I wasn't planning on competing. I was just playing for fun.
Yeah. Mostly
2v2. Yeah, and then I switched to 1v1, and things went from there.
And been going really well since
then. Yeah.
And you are one of the very, very few people who are categorized as a random player. I think very few players have the tag on Liquipedia, for example, where they're just considered random because you play everything on the highest level.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you do that because you think it gives you a competitive edge, or is it because it doesn't get bland for you? What's the reason behind being a random player?
Yeah, it's quite a funny story actually. Before Reforged, I played on the old Battle.net ladder, and I only did like 2v2 with my old German teammate Spooky.
Yeah.
And we did 2v2 random only, so double random. That's when I started playing random only, because it was more fun. Like it's not one-dimensional, You get every race and combinations, especially in 2v2.
Yeah, exactly.
So many strategies and combinations, and went from there. Just started playing 1v1 with random too, and you really get that insight into every race. So the strengths and weaknesses of each race, which can be an edge and an advantage in a match for sure.
And how do you convert that into a one-on-one scenario like this? When you're in a group with a lot of Koreans, you have the Lorad and so in Ansok in the same group.
Yeah.
When you go into a matchup, say against the humans or against an elf or whatever, do you pick what you feel for on the day, like the race, or is there a strategic reason for going random or going a specific race?
Well, now I prefer some matchups more than others. For example, when I random orc on ladder and my opponent is night elf, it doesn't really feel good.
Yeah.
So if I know who my opponent will be, I usually pick human for a tournament game. Okay. I have good matchups with some races, so I adapt to my opponent and play whatever.
So do you already have lined up? You'll play the Victorians. Do you already know what race you'll play against each of them?
Yeah, 3 different races.
3 different races.
Yeah.
Okay. And can you share with us?
Yeah, of course. Versus Soin, I'm gonna play random.
Okay.
Versus Low Light, I'm gonna play human, and versus Sok, I'm gonna play orc.
And against Low Light and Sok, I suppose you feel like you're preferred with those matchups.
Yeah.
I assume that's reason. The most interesting one maybe is the random one. Do you feel like there is no specific race that has an edge, or do you think that playing random can throw them a bit off guard?
Definitely the latter, because playing random versus orc can have an advantage. For example, if he plays Blade Master and I random human, it's pretty good for me, because Blade Master is not as strong anymore. Or for example, if he plays CORSAIR and I get Night Elf, it's good for me. So, and yeah, like he can't really prepare for it. Yeah.
You know, he won't know what's coming.
Yeah.
And you do play. We already mentioned that you play all 4 races at high level, but with those 4 races, you don't only play meta strategies either. It ranges from fast expanding with the undead, or it can be Farseer headhunters, or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
You kind of play it all.
I kind of try to innovate sometimes my own strategies and push or aggressive strategies. I'm like in strategy, I prefer to be more aggressive than passive. So
do you have any favorite strategy that you have been working on refining, or
I like playing human mass towers with tanks.
Okay, well,
that's the one I like. No more lames.
So a chance we'll see that against slow line maybe if you get it.
Let's see. It will be a surprise for sure.
Yeah. That's one of the things that are also very map dependent, right? A strategy like that, because you can't necessarily make work on everything.
Yeah.
And what is your preference to map types? We have big maps like say the Old Twisted Meadows or Terrena Stand, where they're like huge and it can be very long macro games. And then we also have Amazonia, where it's a bit more linear and you can't really avoid the enemy the entire time. What is your preference?
Honestly, I like all the maps.
You like all the
maps?
I
like all the maps, yeah. They have their own feel to it. But you mentioned Amazonia. It's not in the map pool anymore, thank God. It's like the only map I didn't like.
Okay, and why is that?
Because I just don't like the creep camps and the position of everything. Like the camp near the base, elf and human creep it so fast. Also undead with lightning shield, so it kind of gives you instantly level 2. So I don't like it.
Without being interactive with the opponent. Yeah. So right now you're happy with the map pool, is what I hear.
Yeah, except the Rusty Creek map.
Okay, yeah.
Because of the Merc camp, it doesn't offer anything really. Like there should be this pool.
This pool, yes.
This pool.
In the we have that as well on. We actually have 2 maps right now where there's no dispel, because on
and springtime, right?
Springtime, yeah, exactly.
It's just
where
a
you
healer.
have the healing priest instead of the dispel priest. Exactly. Yeah. So that's the event and going into it. You have landed here. Have you played any games with your setup yet?
I just played one game before I came here.
One game before, okay. And do you like the area and the hotel we're staying at?
Yeah, I like the place, the location, everything. Yesterday was a blast. We partied a little bit.
Yeah, it was.
So far, I'm very happy with it.
I will say for the audience, when I arrived, I think Starbuck was the first person I saw, and he was in high spirits. That's an understatement to us all. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And do you have any? I will say maybe you are one of the players with fewer fans, because you're relatively new in the competitive scene. I think is especially.
Yeah.
You have playing Dogs, of course, who has a massive crowd behind it all of a sudden. But do you want to say anything to the fans you have?
Yeah, especially my stream, my Twitch stream fans and everybody. There's a few guys here, you know, from my Twitch channel, and very, very nice to meet them in offline like this. Like, so of course, even if I didn't qualify, I would still come here just for that fact, to hang out, meet everybody, you know. So this is primarily to have fun, meet everybody, and secondary, let's do some damage in my group and try to perform. I
think you have a lot of people hoping that you'll show the Koreans that the Europeans, they are not to be trifled with.
Yeah, you know, in StarCraft 2, when I was like at my peak, I was called Korean killer.
You were called Korean killer?
Yeah, for a little while, yeah.
Because you showed them that...
yeah, because Koreans were so dominant in the early days of StarCraft 2. Yeah. And I was like one of the few Europeans that could match up.
Yeah,
but even though my results were like not big, I'm not talking like hundreds of thousands of dollars.
No, but you're quite in the young start of
StarCraft 2. I was like 16 to 18.
Yeah, exactly. So that's just in the beginning of StarCraft 2, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, beginning, and then the second version, Heart of the Swarm. Yeah, and then I stopped when the third one came out. I didn't like it.
Okay, have you stopped completely, or do you still play StarCraft?
Maybe I play one game per 3 months.
Okay, yeah. So
just for the nostalgia, you know.
Yeah. But thanks for joining me in this interview, and I am certainly rooting for you in the upcoming games.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.